I'm Linda Houston, and I hope you're having a great day. This is the first in a series of 3 on-demand workshops around response to intervention. This workshop was created for 2 audiences. First, for a facilitator to use with their building or district team to lead this process back in their building or districts. It can also be used by individuals who just want to learn a little more about response to intervention. There is a link in the video description that includes resources and materials that will support your learning. I hope you'll check it out. This first workshop focuses on ensuring that you have a strong core, that your Tier 1 teaching and learning meets the needs of at least 80% of your learners. If you're not meeting that 80% of students, then you have to intervene with too many students, requiring a lot of resources and a lot of time. So let's get started. As I said, this workshop is entitled Climbing the RTI Side of the Pyramid, Tier 1 to Tier 2. We only have 2 objectives today. The first is strengthening Tier 1 capacity with the 8 powerful teaching strategies. These are the 8 strategies that John Hattie and Robert Marzano agree have the most significant impact on student learning. Our second objective is understanding how universal design for learning supports quality teaching and student learning. If you're back in your district or in your building and working as a team, I hope that you will use these agreements for your time together. Actively engage in the learning, listen to understand, and that's not always easy. Think of the possibilities and share the air. Our first activity is to review on our feet. We're going to learn about universal design for learning and those 8 powerful teaching strategies. I'm going to pose a question that will move you to a corner for your response. Once you get there, you will read a card. And just so you know, those cards are in the materials link that is in the description of the video. So when you get to your corner, read a card that you haven't read before, because sometimes there'll be more than one card there. And then you're going to talk to someone that you don't know so well. I know that if you're in your building or district that you do have a lot of colleagues that you know, but choose someone you don't know super well. And then answer these 2 questions after reading the card. I think I do this when I want to try to incorporate this more often next week by doing this. Here's your first question. What would make you happiest on a Saturday or Sunday morning? Sleeping late? A good cup of coffee and a book? Spending time with family and friends? Or something else? Go to the corner that represents your response. Pick a card, read it, answer the 2 questions, and share your responses with a colleague. At this point in time, you might want to pause this video and use a timer back in your district. If you're not using cards and you're doing this as an individual, the card follows. You'll want to pause when you get there. This card 1 has strategy 1, a clear focus for the lesson, and UDL's multiple means of representation. Please pause. As a student in middle school, I would have been described as a class clown, studious, polite and compliant, or something else. Go to the corner that represents your response, read a card, answer your questions, and share them with a colleague. You might want to use a timer back in your district, and you'll want to hit the pause button. If you're working on this as an individual and not using the cards, please move to the next slide and answer the 2 questions. You'll want to pause when you get there. Next question. How long have you been in the education field? Fewer than 4 years, 4 to 10 years, 11 to 20 years, or 21 plus years like me? I'm in that group. Go to the corner that represents your response, read the card and answer your questions, what they call it. Again, you can hit the pause button here or use a timer back in your building or district. If you're not using cards, go ahead to the next slide and answer the 2 questions. You'll pause when you get there. Last question. I learn best by doing. I learn best by reading. Number 3, hearing, or some other way. Choose your response and go to your corner. Thanks so very much. You can hit the pause button now and set a timer back in your district. If you're not using the cards, please go on to the next slide. Here you're learning about strategy 4 and strategy 8, giving feedback, so valuable, and building students' self-efficacy. Make sure you hit that pause button. If you are doing the cards in the corners, you can skip these next 3 slides, fast forward me. If you're doing this presentation without the cards, let's do the last 2 cards together. Here we talk about strategy 6, have students apply their knowledge to real world problems or something that's important to them. Strategy 5, multiple exposures. We all know that practice makes progress. Hit that pause button and answer the 2 questions. You'll see them in the middle there. The last card, strategy 2, overt instruction. Robert Marzano and Bob Hattie both agree that students need to have examples, either worked examples, examples and non-examples that show similarities and differences. They totally understand that a teacher standing in front of the room divulging information is not a best practice. They do agree that telling students what they need to know and showing students what they need to be able to do are essential aspects of learning. Hit that pause button to answer the 2 questions. Now what? I encourage you to take a look at CAS.org to learn more about universal design for learning. I also suggest that you check out one of Robert Marzano or John Hattie's books to learn about those super powerful teaching strategies that give you the greatest impact as a teacher. You also might want to look at State Support Team 12's Universal Design for Learning on-demand modules. And last but not least, I encourage you to do number 4. Think about your instruction and learning in your classroom. Think about tomorrow. What are 3 things that you will do different tomorrow? Thanks so much for spending time with me and or your facilitator, and have a great evening. Take care.